You set your alarm for 5 a.m., commit to grueling workouts, and swear to overhaul your entire life. When those ambitious routines inevitably collapse a few weeks later, we immediately point the finger at ourselves. We assume we are lazy, undisciplined, or lacking the necessary drive to maintain the momentum. But human willpower is largely a psychological illusion. Failing to maintain a massive lifestyle shift is a deeply ingrained biological feature rather than a personal character flaw. The human brain operates as a strict, ruthless energy conservation machine. Its primary priority is survival, meaning it is biologically engineered to keep you alive to see tomorrow, regardless of whether you feel happy or fulfilled doing it. Attempting a massive life change demands a surge of calories and effort. The brain registers that sudden, massive expenditure of energy as a direct threat to your physical survival. Any new behavior requires what chemists call activation energy, the heavy, upfront mental and physical cost required to initiate a new action. When that initial cost is high, it catches the attention of the amygdala. The amygdala is a small structure deep inside the brain that acts as your ancient threat detection center, constantly monitoring for sudden spikes in energy use. This chart shows how a high activation energy requirement interacts with that threat detection system. A demanding new habit spikes sharply upward, instantly hitting the amygdala's threshold limit and triggering the biological alarms. Sensing a dangerous disruption to its carefully balanced energy budget, the amygdala actively fights back against your conscious intentions. It effectively shuts down the new habit to force a return to the safe, low-energy status quo. Setting massive goals guarantees a collision with this biological firewall. To actually elevate your baseline level of happiness, you have to engineer a method to bypass the alarms entirely. The solution relies on the micro-habit, a specific action with an activation energy requirement so low that performing it feels ridiculous. Think of one specific thing you are grateful for while your coffee pours, or take 2 deep breaths. The energetic demand of these actions sits near zero. They act as a biological Trojan horse. The amygdala simply does not register the tiny expenditure as a metabolic threat. This chart shows the mechanics of that low-friction approach. A microscopic habit creates a tiny wave that moves quietly underneath the threat response line, cleanly slipping past your strict biological defenses undetected. By intentionally stripping away the friction of a positive action, you bypass the brain's heavy security to gain direct access to the deeper neural programming centers. The moment a micro-habit clears the firewall and is completed, the brain releases a microscopic dose of dopamine, chemically validating the behavior as safe and rewarding. This diagram demonstrates neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to physically rewire itself. Daily repetition prompts the brain to insulate this new pathway with a thick protective coating. Signals then travel at high speed with zero resistance. A conscious thought hardens into permanent hardware. Practicing these tiny actions literally constructs brand new neurological architecture, building resilience into your brain brick by microscopic brick. Zooming out from those microscopic pathways reveals the macroscopic result. After months of accumulating these tiny physical updates, the default state of your mind begins to shift. We usually treat happiness as a fleeting emotional high that has to be chased down. The biological reality is that sustainable happiness is a structural baseline built quietly in the background through daily engineering. Stop forcing yourself into extreme routines that only serve to trigger your own biological resistance and guarantee failure. Building a resilient brain relies on microscopic consistency. By lowering the friction and bypassing the firewall, you allow your own neurobiology to do the heavy lifting.